All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be here.
Glad to have you. And today we're going to look at something, um, pretty interesting, I think.
Mm.
It really could impact your bottom line when you decide to sell your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is the costs associated with not maximizing your home's exposure when you're selling it.
Right.
And we've got some great advice from real estate professionals.
Yes.
So let's jump right in now.
Yeah, sounds good.
We always talk about demand in real estate.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for the homeowner that's selling their home?
Sure. Yeah. So I think the main thing to really consider is that when you maximize the exposure for your house, you're going to maximize the amount of potential offers you're going to get on that house, and that is really going to help drive the price up.
That's true.
It's like an auction, right? The more people that are bidding on something, the higher the price is going to go.
Yeah. So how do we create that sense of competition? I've heard agents talk about something called buyer urgency.
Yeah, buyer urgency.
How do we get that going?
Well, I think that really comes from making sure that your property is widely available. People can see it easily, whether they're looking online or driving around the neighborhood.
Okay.
And also, you want to make sure that your marketing is really effective. You've got great photos, you've got a virtual tour, things like that that really showcase your property in the best possible light.
Now, I would think that, a motivated buyer that really wants to get into a certain area or a certain type of home would be willing to go look at off-market properties.
Yeah, that's true. You're always going to have buyers who are looking off market, but you're going to limit yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because the majority of buyers are still going to be looking through those traditional channels like the MLS and Zillow and Redfin. And so if you're not on those platforms, you're really missing out on a huge segment of the market.
Yeah, and probably the ones that are willing to pay top dollar, too.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, you never know, right? There could be that one buyer out there who's just head over heels for your home and is willing to pay a premium for it.
So are you saying that by limiting that exposure, I could actually be missing out on that perfect buyer?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a risk. And, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're reaching as many potential buyers as possible to give yourself the best chance of getting the best price for your home.
So we've seen how, this buzz and this, reaching more people can help you sell your home faster. But what happens when it doesn't sell fast and it just kind of sits on the market for a long time?
Yeah, that can be a real problem because when a house sits on the market for a long time, buyers start to wonder what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
They think, is there something hidden? Is the price too high? And it can really hurt your chances of getting a good offer.
So you're saying that full exposure can actually help me sell it faster and avoid that stigma altogether.
Exactly. And a faster sale means less stress for you, right? You can move on with your life. You can buy your next house. It's just a smoother process overall.
And speaking of, finding that right buyer, let's talk about negotiation.
Yeah.
I imagine having a lot of offers would give the seller, the homeowner, much more negotiating power at the table.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about leverage, right? The more offers you have, the more leverage you have in negotiations. And that means you're more likely to get the price you want and the terms you want.
It's like having, more options to choose from.
Exactly. You're not stuck with just one or two offers. You
Right.
have a whole pool of buyers to choose from, and that gives you a lot of power.
Now, what about those private sales that we hear about? Do those ever make sense?
They can in certain situations.
Okay.
But you got to be really careful because transparency is really important in real estate.
Yeah.
If buyers sense that you're not being transparent, they might start to wonder what you're hiding.
Right.
And that can actually lead to lower offers.
So private sale could backfire in a way.
It could, yeah.
So it sounds like being upfront and, showcasing my home in its best light online is the best way to go.
I think so, yeah. I mean, you want to make sure that buyers have all the information they need to make an informed decision and that they feel confident about buying your home.
All right, so if we were to summarize this whole thing,
Yeah.
what would you say is the key takeaway here?
I'd say the key takeaway is that maximizing your home's exposure is really all about giving yourself the best chance of a successful sale.
Okay.
It's about reaching the widest possible audience, generating excitement, and creating competition among buyers.
So last question. What's the one thing you'd tell someone who's getting ready to put their home on the market?
I would say think about your goals. What's most important to you in this process? Do you want a quick sale? Do you want the best possible price? Or do you just want a smooth and stress-free experience?
Right.
Once you know what your goals are, you can start to develop a strategy to achieve them, and maximizing your home's exposure is a great way to start.
Great advice. So as we wrap up, Here's a thought for all you listeners out there. What aspects of selling your home are most important to you? And how can maximizing your home's exposure help you achieve those goals? Something to think about. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye-bye.